It is a game. The way it was designed was for you to win or lose.
Ladipo Abiose Akolade founded GamblePause to confront Nigeria's silent epidemic, gambling addiction.
I struggled with gambling addiction for about 9 years. An invisible addiction. It is a quiet addiction, and that makes it really dangerous.
Where others saw a problem, he saw a mission to build the country's first free rehabilitation center that offers hope, healing, and real recovery.
Why do you think entrepreneurs are rewarded, but gamblers are called addicts?
The entrepreneurs are building. You have to build. A lot of the youth in Nigeria today have lost value for hard work. You're just triggered by the quick wins. These things are detrimental to your mental health. People living in Banana Island didn't gamble on Aviator to buy properties there. They had to build structures.
He founded the organization to address a critical and often overlooked challenge, gambling addiction, and to provide support where there was none.
Why do you think there's still a stigma about people talking about gambling addiction?
Nigeria is quite religious. Muslims forbid gambling. Christian groups frown against that act. And culturally,
his work bridges the gap between affected individuals, communities, regulators, and the gaming industry. Ladipo believes in creating lasting change through practical solutions, education, and accessible rehabilitation services.
You are fighting $1 billion structure that have been built with hope and empathy. Do they genuinely make you think that's going to be enough?
We are not fighting. We believe in collaborations. We believe that we can do stuff together.
Under his leadership, GamblePause has grown from an idea into a vital lifeline, offering counseling, therapy, and advocacy to thousands. Ladipo's vision remains clear: transform Nigeria's gambling culture by replacing the stigma with support and silence with action.
Remember when some guy was talking about how he wanted to pay for something and he was just looking for 15K. It took him 500K, it took him 100K first, but he just needed 15K profit. So I told him that this is not a business where you go in to make profits.
Do you think there's responsible gambling?
But there's something called responsible gambling. I have cousins that gamble. So once you see it as a game, you understand that it is just purely for entertainment, not a business-making mechanism. Gambling has come to stay. We are going to promote responsible gambling. We are going to advocate against underage gambling.
Hello guys, do you know that 95.7% of people that visit our channel are not yet subscribed? Leaves us with only 4.3% of subscribers. That's a 0.9 increase since the last time we started creating. Please, your subscription does us a world of good. It helps us create better and invite better guests. Please like, share, and subscribe to what we do here. And that's the only favor me and my team will ever ask of you. Thank you. Hello. The stories we tell ourselves have a way of quickly becoming our reality. And on that note, I welcome you to Talks About You, a story about self. And today we are with one of the most important stories that's coming out of Africa right now. I'm seated here with no other person than Mr. Akolade Abiose Ladipo. He's a leading advocate for GamblePause Africa, which is responsible for advocacy of responsible gambling. Initiatives promotes addiction recovery across the country. He brings over 8 years of experience spanning from different sectors like cybersecurity, anti-money laundering activities, and this is unique background allows him to focus on rehabilitations of gambling, joining policies that advocate for that. And what they have been able to achieve in 1 year of running the initiative of GamblePause Africa is quite impressive in numbers. They have had a lot of success doing this. And I'm here with this story this morning because it is so important that so many people understand that whatever you are going through right now or whatever feels like an addiction right now is not the end of your story. Welcome, sir. Good morning again. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Good morning.
I like to start from the very beginning. For anybody that is coming across your work or this video or what you do generally, what is the earliest context of you that they need to understand?
Okay, so what I would need them to understand is that GamblePause is a non-profit organization promoting responsible gambling, advocating against underage gambling, and also providing help and support to problem gamblers.
I like the way you say it. You embody the mission. But before we get to the mission of GamblePause, this is a story about you.
Yeah.
A story about self. How did GamblePause become your mission?
Okay, so I actually lived the experience. I struggled with gambling addiction for about 9 years. And the funny thing is that when I speak about my story, even friends and family members think I am joking, because they really didn't understand what I went through at the time. Again, it's an invisible addiction. It is a quiet addiction, and that makes it really dangerous. So I experienced it, and that's how GamblePause came to birth, came to life. Um, it was a journey for me because the peak of my addiction started in 2023, where I stopped playing the sport betting games. That's the football
Completely.
games. Yeah, I stopped playing completely, and that was because it was going to run. Or at the time, it was you had to wait for about 90 minutes to get your reward. What I did at the
If
time
you get
was,
your reward.
oh, if you get your reward, exactly. So what I did at the time was I someone told me about a faster game which is virtual, right? And I moved to that quickly because I'm like, oh, okay, this is a quick way to make money, right? And at the point where I started indulging in the virtual games, that was when the addiction hit deep. Yeah, so that was sort of my experience. And at the point, it spiraled into addiction. So I've been on and off gambling, yeah, and I just started indulging in virtual games at 2023.
That was the first time it started looking
I
like a
started
crisis.
playing, yeah. So that's when the crisis hits in. Well, before then, all I used to do then was just probably go to the betting shops. Like back when I was in uni, just go to betting shops, place the bets, and sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. So it was just passive. And the reason why it was that way was because at the time that we didn't have access to digitalization, right? Access to the internet, access to smartphones at the time, right? And also the betting applications have not launched the online betting games, right? So there was a sort of restriction that came with gambling at the time. So now think about it: going to Ojo Elegba to gamble, place your bet, they'll give you a ticket, you take it back home, and hope you win, right? So when you win, you take it back there, they give you cash. So now you see that process comes with a kind of restriction. That means that you can't gamble at any point in time because at some point they close their shops, right? But at the time I got addicted, it was more like the digital era, right? That means that I could make transactions seamlessly. I could transfer funds from my betting account to from my bank account to my betting account in 1 second, right? Again, I could transfer as much as I wanted, right? Again, I could play at any point in time, right? I would play I'll play at midnight. I'll play when I try to stay by myself and play alone, so I could concentrate on the game. So the virtual games were what really got me stuck. And the problem was at some point I actually thought I understood the game, right? And that's what comes with addiction, right? So the game is structured for solely entertainment, right? But what I was thinking was, um, I could make profits from this business. I wasn't seeing it as a gain anymore. I was seeing it as a business, right?
Yeah, that takes me to something very interesting while I was preparing for this. I think Nigerian youths or everybody that gambles in this country or in this part of the continent, Africa generally, because of the lack of opportunity, sometimes peer pressure or unemployment that have eaten deep into our economy, they think gambling is equals to effort. Do you think it is effort? Or in those time you were thinking, oh, I'm putting in the effort to make money. Do you think that was what led to the crisis?
Yes. So that's what I was thinking at the time, right? Because so I saw it like a hustle, right? and I felt like, oh, I was a genius for me to be able to beat the system. Again, you get stuck when you win big, right? Because it all spiraled into addiction when I won big. So there was a night I won about 4 million on the virtual games.
Virtual games.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I made like 4 million in maybe 5 minutes, and quickly I paid my rent because I was just about to pay my rent. So I paid my rent. I was excited. Wow, this is quick money. So why am I stressing myself? Why do I have to go to the office every day and just get like maybe 5% or 2% of this amount? Do you understand? This is quick money. So again, I thought I understood the game. I thought I was in line with the algorithm of the game. But this is what the game does. Because it's a game just like FIFA, right? You should be prepared to win or lose. But what the game makes you feel like is, it makes you feel like you understand it. It makes
Close to
you
winning
exactly. It
every
makes
time.
you feel like you are able to predict it, right? And interestingly, over the few games you play, you see yourself predicting and winning. But at some point, the game switches, right? Because the journey is, when you lose, you recover. There are times where I lost, I recovered because I felt like, oh, I understand the game. I understand how it moves. So if you have like 5 bad games, because the way the game works is different numbers just keep coming, right? The higher the numbers, the higher your money. So it's a plane flying. Do you get? So so in my head at the time, once you have like 5 bad numbers, like 1.0, 1.01, 1.02, your mind would just feel like the next one is going to go to 42. So what that means is that if I put 10,000 on that, right, I could be making about maybe 4.2 million thereabout if I probably leave it to 100. Do you get? So I was thinking of it that way. I didn't even believe that it was, at some point my mind just shifted, right? That this is not a business, and this is not a business model. It shifted from being a game to being a business model. So yeah, so that was like sort of the
But in the middle of all this, what was getting hurt personally? Like, what were things that were hurting from you concentrating so much on that? Like, when you look at your life, where you were at that point, what were the things that was being affected, let me put it that way, by you doing that?
Okay, so again, there's certain things that led me to that, right?
What are the
Yeah.
things? Okay.
So at the time I was having like issues. I had like relationship issues at the time, right? And it came with some level of comfort, right? So there's something that comes with gambling, right? The same excitement you get when you win is in comparison to the same excitement you get when you lose. So you can understand how scary the game is. Do you get? So at the time I had like personal relationship issues, and I felt like, oh, this is like an escape for me, right? While anytime I'm playing the game, there's an excitement that comes with it. Even when anytime I'm anticipating to play it, there's so much excitement that comes with it, right? That means that the certain level of dopamine in my head is on the rise because I'm already like anticipating to play the game. So yeah, that was like a major problem for me. And my relationships I had like relationship crisis at the time, and that was what led me to it. While I was at it as well, I started having serious issues, right? Because again, I started borrowing a lot. Right now, my close friends started asking questions like, "Guy, you've not borrowed 50K in 10 years. How come you just call me?" Like, I called my guy one day and I'm like, "Please just send me 50K." So I sent him a message. I said, "Send me 50K." And he had to call me. I'm like, and it's like, "Guy, 50K, what's the problem?" I said, no, I just need it. So it was like, okay, I'm sending you 100K. You get, like, just take care. I don't know what's going on. But so that was the sort of financial credibility I had at the time. Right. So I had to run into debt. I was so credible that all I need to do was just send a message. So I could raise like 5 million in 1 minute. I could raise like 3 million in 1 minute because everybody really trusted me with funds. You get it? But all of a sudden I was borrowing money and it was taking me longer to pay back. Then people like started asking questions like, are you good? Are you good? The sad part was when I, as a person, reached out to a loan shark to borrow money. Right.
Are you investing the money or is going to?
So exactly. I was just going to borrow the money to gamble. Do you get? So at the time, I already just started seeing it that yes, this is a problem. Right. Again, I was feeling really entitled. Right. I reached out to my sister. So we're just two, and we're really close. I reached out to her and I was like, I need money, and she was worried because I'm not the guy that would just need money like that. So she was even thinking that, oh, you said that you want to do a project. What's the problem? No. So interestingly, I go around asking for little funds like 100K, 50K. Okay, so that even made her more worried about what exactly was going on. Again, I had to lie, right? I just wanted to sort out stuff. Do you get? And again, she sends the money, it goes. Right? I never pay back. I keep postponing the payment dates. And yeah, so it just affected my relationships with friends. It led to strained relationships. At some point, I was depressed because I just felt like everything was just crashing.
How did you come out of all this to being able to be the one leading the initiative against gambling?
So at the time, I had like a very close friend, and she was there for me on this journey, right? And I believe that she was the one that actually held my hand, right? And for me, I feel like GamblePause is a spiritual initiative. I'm not a pastor yet, but the way it's moving is spiritual. I can tell you for free. At the time, she was the only one aware of my crisis.
Because it's hard. Sorry for cutting.
Yeah.
It's hard for you to tell an addict that they're addicted to something.
Yeah.
So how was she able to make you look at it like this is an addiction?
So she was.
Or did you come to the realization yourself?
So it was more like we had to have this conversation, right? Because at the time she gave me money, right? And she just realized that, guy, there's something wrong. Do you get? Like, I'm sending you like 3 million, right? And you're broke again the next day. What's going on? There's something wrong. So I had to open up to her at the time. So on that journey, she was the one that held my hand. I'm like, guy, don't worry, we're gonna get through this together. Do you get? And what we did was so the recovery process started when I went for like a program in church. And funny enough, it was at church, CCI.
Okay.
Yeah, so they had
Shout
like
out
this.
to CCI.
Yeah. So I went for a reboot camp. I didn't want to go. She called me. I was like, "You have to go." She came to pick me around 5:30. I was just nagging that I didn't want to go.
How often did these reboot camps happen?
So reboot camps. So I'm not even like a member of the church. I think it happens every year. So now since my first time I've attended, I've always been attending. I'm keeping tracks on how it goes. So it happens every year at the end of the year. And the year I attended was 2023. So while I was there, I prayed about it, right? I prayed about it, I thought about it, and there was just a sort of conviction that came with this initiative, right? And that was it. I left the camp that day. It was a 3-day program, but I just went for just 1 day. And then it happens to be the last day. And I went home, I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? Again, I did my research, and I found out that it was just one organization in the country at the time that was doing, that was carrying out this initiative, right? And for me, I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? I lived the experience, do you get? So I can communicate with you properly, right? I believe that I'll be in the best place to design a proper model to help people struggling with gambling addiction. So yeah, so that was how we started GamblePause. I thought about it. I'm like, okay, so recovery starts with a pause, right? Once you're struggling, once gambling becomes a problem to you, all you need to do is pause, think, and re-strategize and get your life back. So that's how I came up with the name.
GamblePause.
Yeah, and I designed the logo on Canva at the time. So the interesting thing about it was I was in debt, I was broke, but that was where GamblePause came out from.
So you just this is very interesting. You're just getting out of your own addiction.
Yeah.
You are still in debt.
Yeah.
You're trying to like, okay, what next do I do?
Yeah.
Do I go back to work?
Yeah.
And you decide to push the initiative.
Yeah.
Were there moments you almost gave up or relapsed because of you trying to push the initiative? Those are the things I was going to get to.
Exactly. So there are times I relapsed, right?
While trying to push the
initiative. Do you get? So you see this initiative, I believe I was born to do it. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because I did it out of nothing. I did it while I was struggling, right? I did it when there are times I relapsed. Do you get? There are times where I now stopped relapsing and started having the urge. Do you understand? So the healing process was actually a long one, and I will tell you that GamblePause healed me, right? I got the healing from some of our clients. So they were seeking healing from us, and I was drawing healing from them. Do you get? So I don't know if it makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
So that was what my journey was, and as I say again, it's spiritual, because I'm telling you that when we started with nothing. Right? We started with the founder being broke. So what do you expect? Right? We did our first video. I was broke after that. I got my first the content creator to start like helping us design content. And so I begged her and told her that this is a non-profit, we don't have money, but I would pay you 35K. Right? At the time I was thinking that how am I going to keep up with this salary? Do you get? But interesting enough, we've grown, right? I'll tell you that I don't even know how we've grown. We grew so big that sometimes I look back, I just laugh. Because from there, we moved to having 20 psychologists.
Wow.
And 80% of them are being paid, right? Again, we have like a proper research team. We have a social media team. We have a web and IT design team. So it was great. Again, I was able to get or we were able to get volunteers from different countries, right? And it was just so everything was just changing, and I could just see that there was light in what we were doing.
I like the way you talk about what you do. You embody the mission. You said it feels like this is your calling, and the numbers actually testify to that. But we don't talk about gambling in the same light we talk about alcohol, or in the same light we talk about things that are easy for people to be addicted to, like drugs and alcohol. I mean, sexual addiction is something people are even easy to talk about. But most people don't really want to talk about gambling addiction. Why? From you looking at it, from you crossing from the other side to you leading this initiative, why do you think there's still a stigma about people talking about gambling addiction?
So I'm sure you're aware of the fact that Nigeria is quite religious, and if we're going to even lean on the religious part of it, the Muslims forbid gambling, right? And also the Christians, Christian groups frown against that act. So that has led a lot of people to keep this sort of addiction to themselves because of this sort of stigma it comes with. Then culturally, people think that you should be irresponsible to get yourself stuck to gambling or even indulging in activity itself. So I believe that's why a lot of people just tend to keep things to themselves. That's why a lot of people tend to keep this arm to themselves. And that's why it's becoming a major problem. And why it's scary is because as opposed to alcohol, as opposed to drugs, you could tell when someone is struggling by their physical appearance, their countenance, and the way they operate in a social setting, a social gathering. But with gambling addiction, it's invisible. I could wear a nice suit, wear a nice tie, go to work, and some of the clients we help don't drink, don't smoke, right? You could see someone and you're wondering what exactly is wrong with this person. You can't see it, right? It's telling you he has a problem, but you can't even see it because it's a mental issue, right? And that's what makes it a lot scary. And so that's it basically.
Just like from what you said now, that means you listen to a lot of clients pour out their pain to you.
Exactly.
There's something intimate about people opening up to you about their pain for the very first time. I mean, strangers, things they don't talk to you about, their family about.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Again, so we have psychologists, and so they are the ones that actually handle them. We have 26 clinical psychologists, and most of our clients are always referred to them for counseling and also cognitive behavioral therapy assessment. But we've been able to design a model at GamblePause where whenever a client reaches out and is suicidal, the first point of contact is me, right? Because again, I was suicidal, and
you are suicidal.
Yeah, I was suicidal at the time, right? And I know what to tell you. So based off statistics, 85% of our clients that called in suicidal were really impressed with the sort of conversation I had with them, right? And that has been very good. And once I'm done with them, I move them quickly to the psychologist. And that's because I know the process. I can tell you from the amount of money you've lost. I could tell the sort of games that you're indulging in. I can tell the sort of problems that you're having. Do you get? So that has made it very effective in communicating with the suicidal clients.
I like the fact that we're talking about gambling. There's no way we talk about gambling that we'll not talk about losses. And you must have had personal losses before you started the GamblePause initiative. But this one I'm talking about is there somebody you've tried to save, like a client that have come in, but you could not? How did you deal with that experience? Or you've not experienced something like that?
So there was a particular guy that called from Mina. He reached out to me at the time. He reached out to us at the time where we just started. And I was the one that spoke to him. I spoke to him, and he was struggling with gambling at the time. It was really difficult for me because it was just, I think it was the first client at the time, and I was just trying to find a way to manage the situation. So we went back and forth. Things were getting better for him. But at some point, he sent me a message and told me that, so we had conversations for 2 weeks. And I just kept encouraging him, speaking to him, talking about the experiences. And I was also telling him on things to put in place for his recovery. Then he sent me a message at some point and told me that he relapsed and is taking his life. Right? And that was the last I heard of him. There are high chances that he took his life because I sent messages to him. He didn't respond. I tried to call him. He rang for a bit and the phone went off. Right? So again, so those are the part of the challenges that this sort of initiative comes with, because sometimes you're on a journey helping people to recover, they relapse and they think that's the end of the world, and there's really nothing you can do from your hand. Your hands are tied. You get to. Sadly, we lost him, and may his soul rest in peace. So those are sort of the problems that we encounter if we're not able to provide like proper help and support to them.
How do you move on after nights like this? How do you wake up and go again?
So it's traumatizing for me. Like sometimes, like I just want to run away from the messages. I just want to run away from the suicidal messages, the suicidal thoughts people speak to me about at the time, because then it was just like 1 month old, right? But it's so traumatizing. I won't even lie to you.
Well,
at some point, I had to tell so a lot of my psychologists would just give me feedback on, oh, boss, this guy said this, or this guy said this. I had to tell them that, you know what, just don't tell me for now. Just like report to your head, right? Because there's a lot in my head already. So yeah, but right now I'm excited because, as I said, we've been able to build a model where
That
the
works.
suicidal clients reach out to me, and I'm able to speak to them no matter the time. Once you reach out to us, we'll speak to you. Yesterday night, I got 3 referrals about some people being suicidal, and this is how it works. You get suicidal at midnight. Reach out at midnight, because guess what? That's the time you're playing, right? That's the time where you lose everything, and you need someone to speak to.
What's the most lost somebody has spoken to you about?
So that was last
Just
week.
to put these suicidal thoughts in perspective.
So that was last week. Just last week. 476 million.
On virtual.
Yes. So I have data. I have a story.
In
I
one,
have
for the sake of the people that are listening,
yeah.
because I mean, when we say suicidal, they might feel like we're just throwing words around. The 456 million was lost in one night.
No, so 476 million was lost in 1 year.
1 year?
Yes.
Playing virtual games?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So, when somebody coming with that amount of loss comes into the organization, just for people to have a clear understanding, how do you get them back to somewhere they can attempt to live with it?
Okay, so what we did was we designed a model, because again, we had psychologists that were operating virtually. So we have 15 psychologists operating virtually. On that model, we figured that a lot of people wanted in-house service. They wanted to speak to a psychologist face to face, right? Because they were craving it. A lot of them just needed someone to connect with. And you can tell the sort of people that needed that sort of connection. Those are the people that have lost so much, right? They understood the fact that yes, our model was going to cater to them virtually, but they wanted something more. And that's why we were able to set up like the first gambling rehab in Nigeria, right? And it's free. And that was the main reason, just to set it up so they could come, speak to our psychologist, and also just have a safe space to be. So yeah, when we set it up, we're able to accommodate those sort of clients. The clients have lost big, right? And when they come around, they speak to our best clinical psychologist, go through the proper assessment. We encourage them to tell their stories. And again, I'm always there.
Always at the clinic.
I'm always at the clinic for the clients that are suicidal and have lost big. Do you get? Because they need me to be there, right? They need someone that has lived the experience to talk to them. Do you understand? They need someone to tell them that, yeah, I was in your place before, I was in your space before, I was in your shoes. But guess what? I'm here now. I recovered. So that means for me to recover, you can recover. Do you get? So those are the sort of models that we've built. Again, we have games. We play video games with them, just for them to call off and understand that, yes, this is just a problem, just like any other problem. But is this the end of the world? No. Right? Also, we are looking at collaborating with Lagos State Skills Acquisition Center to see how we could refer them to the center to learn a skill. But at the end of the day, if you're taking out addiction from someone, what are you? You have to replace it with something.
How do you tell somebody that lost 476 million to go learn a skill?
Okay, so what we've done is, once you're done with your assessment, right, we would now offer certain things, options to you, right? That is a skill that you could learn, because a lot of them, once they lose that amount of money, they panic, and if they are even in a particular career path, it's going to be really difficult for them to go back in, because they'll probably be blacklisted, right? So it's really difficult for them to integrate themselves back into that system. So that's why we advise the learning skill. And also, what we've done is we are partnering with a UK-based company that has they've developed an AI tool to teach people certain subjects, right, which could be beneficial to them. on their recovery process. And that's all the subjects will help them reintegrate themselves into the system. So those are the sort of structure we've put in place to help people recover, right? Also, we've been able to set up community support groups, right, where they are able to come around. And why I believe that the community support groups are very important is because we are all in the same space. We are all addicts, right? It's okay if you don't want to speak to your sister. It's okay if you don't want to speak to your wife or your friends. But we are all addicts in this space. We will laugh about how we were shaking, right? And we were in the toilet when we just wanted to concentrate. We'll laugh about how we made 2 million in one night, and because we wanted to take it to 6 million, we lost everything. We'll laugh about our shame. Do you understand? And from there, we are able to draw strength from each other, right? And grow together.
From you talking about how they need to learn a skill and you trying to do this and relapsing yourself, I have a very important question. Do you think there's responsible gambling? Because I've seen you talk about corporate social responsibilities when it comes to gambling. Do you think there's responsible gambling?
So there's responsible gambling, right? And I'll tell you why there's responsible. The responsible gambling is because some people actually play responsibly. Some people actually set limits. Some people actually set out a budget to gamble. Some people actually take out time, right, to gamble. So these are actually like models you need to put in place to gamble responsibly. So there's something called responsible gambling, and it's there, and that's what we are preaching, right? When we started the initiative, right, there are a lot of people doing the same thing, right? Shout out to Lobby Stars, shout out to Gamble Aware NG, amazing people, right? Shout out to Gamble Alert as well, amazing people, right? But again, there's Lobby Stars. Lobby Stars has the biggest gambling recovery space on Twitter. His space is the biggest in the world. We've been in that space, and people from the United States reach out to us on that space, reach out to him on that space, speaking about their addiction and how they need help, right? What I was able to do was integrate myself into the space. Again, some people on that space don't believe there's anything called responsible gaming or responsible gambling. But I had to go to that space to change that narrative. So there's a bit of argument there, right? I remember there's some guy called Kingsley. Is always because, and now we co-host this space, right? We co-host this space because we have a structure where we are able to help them. He has the numbers reaching out to them. So we're saying, how can we help you? That's with Lobby Stars. So myself and Gamola, we are assisting him on that journey. How can we help you on the journey? Because a lot of people are reaching out to you daily. We just need to be able to help people and be effective with the sort of services we are rendering. So again, we're arguing on this space. Someone was arguing with me that, I don't believe there's anything called responsible gambling, right? So the question was directly to me because I was at the space at the time. We were co-hosting. Lobby was there, I was there, and Gamulawe was there. He said he went through my page and he was saying gamble responsibly, and he doesn't believe that there's anything called gambling responsibly, and as such, maybe I shouldn't be pushing that sort of initiative. So I told him that the reason why I'm in this space is because I'm here to change your narrative, right? You've gambled, you've lost, you struggle with gambling. Same, yeah, I gambled as well. But there's something called responsible gambling. I have cousins that gamble. They don't gamble more than 10 naira. Some of them don't gamble more than 500 naira, and they've been doing that for years. Gambling has come to stay. I'm not going to ban gambling. I'm not going to tell everybody to stop gambling. But we've been able to set up a structure where we are going to promote responsible gambling. We are going to advocate against underage gambling. We're going to help people struggling with gambling addiction because, again, gambling has come with certain positive advantages to the economy in terms of direct taxes, in terms of job employment, in terms of innovative technological models, right? So we need to start seeing it as a model or a business or a sector that has come to stay, and in an industry that has come to stay globally. What we now need to start doing is understanding that it is a game. right? It is a game like FIFA, right? So that means that I could play a game I could play like maybe FIFA 2025, and there are chances that you will win, there are chances that I will win, there are chances that there's going to be a draw. So once you see it as a game, you understand that it is just purely for entertainment, not a business making mechanism. So that was the sort of conversation I had with him. And also on that space, I remember when some guy was talking about how he wanted to pay for something and he was just looking for 15K. It took him 500K, it took him 100K first, but he just needed 15K profit. So I told him that this is not a business where you go in to make profit, right? It is a game. The way it was designed was for you to win or lose. Do you understand? So what we've been trying to do is let them get aware. They need to be aware that, yeah, there's something called responsible gambling. Because you stuck to it doesn't mean that everybody's playing this irresponsibly.
Okay. Yeah, I like the way you answered the question and how you are always advocating for responsible gambling. But in a world that rewards entrepreneurs, investors, visionaries, and call gamblers addicts, why they are doing the same thing, but two other side of the coin? Why do you think entrepreneurs are rewarded, but gamblers are called addicts?
There's something they call building, right? I'm sure your podcast is your initiative. You built it from scratch, right? You're building. We are all building. Even the betting companies didn't just rise to where they are today. They built a system. They built a model to work. So the entrepreneurs are building, right? You can't win. You can't win out of poverty, right? There's something that comes with building, right? You have to build. Again, a lot of the youth in Nigeria today have lost value for hard work, right? A lot of people believe that you could win 150 million. So why do you have to stress? I was in that space as well. I believe that I could win 4 million in 5 minutes. So why do I have to go to work? But again, these things are detrimental to your mental health because you can't wait anymore. You're just triggered by the quick wins. You want everything fast. Your dopamine level is on the rise, is already on the high because your reward system is on a level where you are just anticipating everything quickly. You want everything quickly. So we need to understand, or the youth need to understand that you need to build. You need to build and stop chasing. When you build a system, which the entrepreneurs have done, they start attracting. Do you get me? So once they're able to understand that you can't, the people living in Banana Island didn't gamble on Aviator to buy properties there. They had to build structures and attracted wealth to accumulate those sort of properties. So that's the difference between these two people.
Yeah, I like the way you answered that, and it takes me to one of my last questions on this. Is you are fighting a $1 billion structure that have been built, like you said yourself, with hope and empathy. Do you think, or things you have seen, do they genuinely make you think that is going to be enough?
So again, we are not fighting. For us at GamblePause, we are not fighting. We believe in collaborations. We believe that we can do stuff together.
It's the gambling
industry. We could do stuff together with the operators, with the regulators, with the stakeholders, right? Your players are coming to me. Now think of it this way. If you're selling biscuits and your customers are purging, right? I'm the pharmacist in the area. And I'm telling you that, Remy, the biscuits you are selling, some people are purging, and they are coming to my pharmacist. We are giving them drugs for free. Let's work together. Let's try to see how we could manage this situation, right? Because at the end of the day, you still sell biscuits because that's your business. Do you have the legal right to sell biscuits? Yes. So now let's think about it in the gaming industry. The gaming industry, the gaming companies have set up models to make money. The government have given them the legal backing to do that. But again, what they just need to do is go back to the laws guiding them, right? Also, go through it and also be promoting responsible gaming. And understand that by doing that, they can't be the players and the referee. That's why they have to collaborate with us. Because I've been seeing on the news people talking about how betting companies have started integrating responsible gaming chapters in their organizations. Very good. Very good model. Amazing. But again, you can't be the player and the referee in your game. Because tell me, what do you want to tell a client that calls you as a betting company, pumping 1 billion naira monthly on social media ads? What do you want to tell a client that calls you, telling you about his gamble harm and how he's suicidal? Do you want to tell him to stop gambling? Or do you want to tell him to bet responsibly? But tell me, like, what sort of conversations are you going to have that won't lead to being conflict of interest? Because on one hand, you're promoting gambling with $1 billion. On another hand, you're setting up a responsible gaming chapter in your organization. So they need to understand that you can't be, again, I'm repeating this because it's very important. You can't be the player and the referee in this sector, right? You need to collaborate with organizations like us because your players are running to me. Think about it. Your players are running to me. You're making so much money in the industry. Year in, year out, you're talking about the sort of monies you've made. You're talking about how much profits you've declared, right, for the year. But guess what? A lot of your patients are running to me. When we launched our rehab, 50 people reached out to us.
What's the number of people that can be in the rehab at the same time?
At the same time, in a day, we are looking at maybe 20 people.
That's the capacity.
That's the capacity for now, yeah.
Okay.
But 50 people reached out. But what we've done is we've set up a structure where we were able to accommodate them, right? And by doing that, we had to ensure that they book their appointment so we won't be overwhelmed by the numbers that come in. So again, let me go back to we working together. We need to work together to help to solve this problem because the players are running to me. They are losing their money to you, but they are crying to me. So what am I going to do?
Okay, yeah, that leads me to one interesting question that I have. Like, people misunderstand about gambling addicts. They say, maybe you are losing money, you just stop now. What do you have to say to that? Like, it's just a common notion in Nigeria. When they say, oh, somebody is addicted to gambling, they say, how is he addicted? Maybe they're losing money. If we go, just stop now. What do people like that need to understand?
Gambling addiction is mental. It's a mental issue. It's a mental disease. And at the point where we start seeing it as a mental issue, we will understand that it's really difficult for them to stop. Some people never even recover in their lifetime.
But that's more of the reason why people don't talk about it. Because we have stigmas when it comes to people telling you have mental or spiritual problem in Nigeria. They think is once they tell you you have a mental problem or you have a spiritual problem, they think it's the end of your existence.
I believe that some people believe or think that once you have a mental problem, it's like you are not okay, you are running mental, you are mad. But you don't know that little things like addiction are mental illness that we need to start being intentional about. And also, we need to start speaking to therapists when we have like mental issues. Because in Nigeria, you know now, a lot of people say, now man, you be, which one be say you want to go see therapist. What you get? But we need to understand that we are not as strong as we think, but we are human beings. We need to, we have therapists, we need people to help us on that journey. You need experts to help you. You need to seek professional help. Because that's the only way out. That's the only way out. Again, the damage starts when you start gambling when you're young. Right? And 85% of our clients struggling in gambling addiction started gambling when they were below 6, below 18. And when you start gambling at that time, there's something that will do to your brain. Right?
Gambling at that time has nothing to do with profit or anything. most of the time in the country we live in, it has everything to do with survival.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you.
So you're saying, as a young person, you become an addict because you're in survival mode.
Again, I told you something earlier. I said some people just engage in gambling activities because of what they are seeing, right? So it's not like they are trying to survive. For the younger ones, they are just indulging and curious about the game, because again, it's everywhere. It's on the TV. It's everybody's playing it. Oh, why can't I play it? Again, they are not. We don't have strict policies guiding the underage gamblers. Platforms where we could curb underage gambling by setting up models like age verification models to curb underage gambling. So that's giving a lot of them access. So a lot of them just play to just enjoy it, right? But when they play, they now start getting excited about it, right? When they are not playing, they're anticipating to play, right? They start going into it deep. They start going neck deep. And before you know it, they're chasing losses, right? And that is what it is for them at the time. When they now get older, the sad part is sometimes some of them even win. So imagine you winning as a child, winning 1 million as a child. Right? You know what that would do to your brain? That will mess you up, because you'd automatically you've lost value for hard work. As a child, you believe that you can win. So now when you're moving with that sort of notion, you now understand that
processes are not important.
Processes are not important. You could place a bet and win. Why do I have to struggle? Why do I have to look for a job? Why do I have to stress myself? All I need to do is just get internet, a mobile phone, and just small cash to win. So that's where the problem starts from.
If you are to speak to young gamblers and you're just to tell them one thing, just to round this up, what are the things you're going to tell them they need to understand before even playing their first bets?
So the young gamblers, when you mean young gamblers, do you mean the underage gamblers or
anybody starting gambling?
Okay,
be you underage, I call them young gamblers because I'm sure there are cases where a person is placing their first gamble at maybe age 50. Yeah. That person is still a young gambler because they don't know what lies ahead.
Exactly.
So it's just even maybe be an underage gambler or a young gambler. What do you say to them before you place your first bet? What are the things you need to understand?
Okay, again, so let me just try to speak to the young gamblers where you mentioned. Let's take it from 12 to 16. So if you are from 12 to 16, 12 to 17, you shouldn't gamble by law. I would advise strongly that you don't gamble. Stay away from it. Right? There's no quicker way to success. Go to school, read your books, prepare for your exams, concentrate on your academics. Right? Stay away from gambling. Now, when you're 18 and above, or if you are between 18 and 60, right? If at all you want to indulge in gambling activities, you need to ensure that you are aware. First thing you need to do is you need to be aware of the signs of gambling addiction. Right. So when you see the signs, you understand that there's a problem. I have a problem. That's one. You need to understand the signs of gambling addiction. You need to be aware of the word gambling addiction. You need to be aware of the term called problem gambling. Once you're aware of these things, it's very good. You're good to go. You understand that, once I start exhibiting these things or exhibiting these traits, I'm struggling with something. Now, you now have to go back to understanding what it means to gamble responsibly. And how do you gamble responsibly? Staking what you can afford to lose. Do you understand? Why stake 1 million naira when you can stake 10 naira? So if you want to gamble on your Chelsea, I support Chelsea. I want to gamble on Chelsea because again, it's entertainment. There's something that comes with you winning, putting 10 naira on or staking 10 naira and winning, regardless of the amount. And that's where there's a term called gamification. So gamification is like the reward they give you when you win. Do you understand? So there's a trophy that comes regardless of the amount. If you win 10 naira today, there's a trophy that comes that, you won, so Romy, you're a winner. Do you get? So that's what it comes with. So you need to understand that, set a budget, set up a time. Right, I'm going to gamble. I'm going to place a bet between this time, just 5 minutes, and that is it. You set up a budget, set up a time, and try not to borrow to gamble. Stay away from debt.
Yeah, I like us to end it on this note. You deal with people that are trying to come out of gambling addiction. What do you tell them about? Because I feel like our society, we promote instant gratification. And that's what you said when you're talking about young gamblers, that at a young age, underage gamblers, that at a young age, you win 1 million. That's instant gratification. There's nobody that will tell you that the best game to play in life is delayed gratification, that you need to build something. It's going to be hard for people to convince you. So how do you tell those people, those addicts that you're trying to help, those people coming out of that struggle, that delayed gratification is better than instant gratification?
Okay, so why most times I just always have to like refer to myself and refer to the sort of experiences I've had, and also refer to the stuff or structures that we are building as an organization, right? And for us, GamblePause was built out of nothing, and that's what I always make reference to, right? You have to build, right?
Absolutely.
You would build, and I have one of my friends, my closest friend. We were about to do a business one time, and we had to like run a business plan together. And he spoke about the J curve, right? There's always going to be a J curve. That's the standard.
That's life.
That's life. So the J curve goes like this, it goes down. For you to build, you have to go down. So when I went for a meeting some months back, where someone was telling me that, because I just went for a stakeholders meeting, I was telling them what we are doing, that, this is what we're doing, or whatever support you can render. And she was like, no, we don't have money to give you. And I was like, we're not here for money, right? We're here for just collaborations, even seminars, programs, invite us. We'll be there. We can go this journey 5 years without money, because we are not looking for money. All we are doing is we are focused on the goal. And once you are focused on the goal, you are solving a problem, right? Every other thing will come through. So what I tell them is that forget quick money. Forget it. Run away from it.
Money eventually go where value is.
Exactly. You will attract it. Build something that you can attract wealth. Build something that people are attracted to you. Build something that people are reaching out to you and telling you that, how can I be a part of this initiative? How can I be a part of this business? Because at the end of the day, if you build a business that is sustainable enough, who do you attract? Investors. Investors start coming and saying, I see this business. It's good. I want to bring money to it. I want to invest. How can we do things together? How can we collaborate? Do you understand? When we started GamblePause, we weren't getting a lot of messages. We weren't getting a lot of calls because a lot of people were doubting us. People told me that
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. People even told me that I didn't have the right intentions. But what did I do? Again, I told you that it's spiritual. I reported them to God. I said, God, they say we don't have right intentions. And in 3 months, we got 3 international collaborations, right? Now, we are getting big. We are getting fat. We are getting robust. So again, firstly, have the right intentions. Be genuine. Be true to yourself, right? Again, build something. The only way you can succeed, the only way they can succeed, and this is why I tell them, the only way you can succeed is when you build something. You need to go. You need to struggle. There's joy in struggle, and there's a sort of passion that comes with it. So yeah, when you build something, right, you attract what you're expecting.
So we have a challenge that me and my team came up for you because of what you do at GamblePause, and we feel you are the one that is supposed to be tackling challenges like this. So I'm going to read out the whole challenge for you. Then at the end, I'm going to tell you what we want you to do. So you have spent years helping people recover from gambling addiction, which also work with regulators and operators to promote responsible play. But there's a real dilemma, the kind only people like you can answer. What if triggered gambling regulators in Nigeria actually push the problem underground? Imagine this. Tomorrow, a national banner is posted on all sporting platforms. On paper, it looks like a win. But you know the reality. New black market apps begin to surface. Untraceable payment through crypto arises. Addicts users are pushed further into silence because their habits are now illegal. Like, I mean, people expect them to just overcome gambling, like we spoke about. You are invited to the table to help draft the national policy, but every option seems to protect one group at the expense of the other. Just like what you spoke about, you can't be the one responsible for the play and be the referee too. Here's the challenge: how do you design a framework that reduces harm, keeps platforms accountable, protects valuable users, and still work in the real Nigerian economy? You can't raise awareness. You can't just treat addicts. You are to architect a system. What would that look like? If you are to architect a system.
All by myself.
Yeah.
Without no support.
Yes, just yourself.
Okay.
You are on the table with the policymakers. But you have to architect a system that just doesn't protect the gamblers, doesn't protect just the people that are responsible, the gaming company. But you want a system that protects everybody. How do you go about that?
Okay, so as you said, when you spoke about we fighting, I said that is a collaborative effort. And I believe that we all need to put heads together to solve the problem, because your players are running to me, right? All we need to do is to cover that age gambling, set up a structure, right? Set up a structure where...
What would that structure look like?
Where the betting companies can design a model where players at the onboarding processes have to upload a government-issued identity card.
We don't have that yet.
No, we don't. We don't. So what we have is...
That's just done for only banking.
Exactly.
So
right.
you think they should bring that from banking
They
into
need
gambling?
they need to curb underage gambling. So we don't... so what I will speak to them about is try to shift the focus on creating awareness on underage gambling. Because as regulators, why are you rolling out banners, right, speaking about underage gambling when we can ensure or enforce a system where the operators ensure that players upload their government-issued identity card to curb underage gambling? Right?
They not take away from the fun of it. I think one of the things that makes the industry of gambling thrive, from my findings yesterday, is how quick it is. It's quick money for both the player and the...
Exactly, but that is detrimental to the mental health of the children. So exposing them to it. In more developed countries, they do that. So why can't we do it here? You get? Again, a lot of these operators are foreign operators.
Yeah.
So a lot of these foreign operators, are foreign operators. So what are they doing? They're making the money, taking it away. You get? So we need to put that in place, right? Also, set up deposit limits, right? How much would a player have to put in his account? Let me tell you something. There was a time I was gambling. Don't worry, I gambled. I gambled properly, right? There was a night I gambled so much that the system had to tell me that you are too good. You have to stop.
So you're on a winning streak.
They had to pause the game. So when someone is on his losing streak, pause the game.
Not just, they do pause on the winning streak.
Exactly. So why don't you pause on the losing streak? Do you understand? So we really need to balance it out. We know that, gaming has come to stay. You know that you guys are making so much money. We really need to balance it out. We also know that you made provision for organizations like myself in terms of your taxes, right? You pay your taxes and the part of it states that, a certain portion of that should be for good causes. Yeah, we understand that. But we know Nigeria, we know having to put policies in place, having to integrate into this government system, into the regulatory system could be difficult. So what you can do is, in terms of your corporate social responsibility, reach out to us. We are not many. How many are we? Very few. We have GamblePause, we have Gamble Aware, we have Gamble Alert. Do you understand? How many are we? We are not a lot. So collaborate with us on your corporate social responsibilities, as opposed to going to help pregnant women, as opposed to going to help widows. Because I believe that you being very objective about your social responsibility, you need to focus on your players struggling. That's you being objective. People on your product.
They're your market.
Exactly, they're your market. So it is funny when we speak to stakeholders and they're like, oh, there's a lot going on in the industry now. They recently just took out power from federal government. The state is doing this.
Sounds
There's
like
so much
excuses.
Exactly. Why are you focused on every other thing apart from the players? If you remove the players from the industry, there's no industry.
Money. There's no money in the industry.
Every year you're coming out to speak about the profit that you made.
The numbers are ridiculous.
Do you understand? You guys are making billions.
Yeah.
Again, so a lot of them don't want to talk about. So the gaming industry.
I know the numbers. As of 2023, they made over 250 million in profits. Yeah, is it 250 million or 500 million from the Nigerian market? All gambling operators.
Do you understand? So again, they are making so much money. So they really need to be intentional about their players.
If you calculate that to Naira, that runs into the billions.
Do you understand? They're making money daily and these numbers are increasing.
That's at 2023. I don't know what the projection is at 2025.
Again, there's no proper research. Nobody's giving you data.
It's projected to go up 25% from my own findings while I was preparing for this.
Or even more. So that's where we are now. And an economy where people are struggling.
And that's what worries me the more about the gambling sector. I think that's more than the budget for education in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Combine more than the budget for education and health together.
Exactly.
That worries me. That's the profit. So how much more goes into the industry if they can have that in profit?
Exactly. So also, they need to just start looking at the regulations, right? And enforce them. When I was gambling, the betting app I was gambling on had like a self-exclusion model where you could exclude for 30 years. You could self-exclude for 30 years. That was great.
So once you self-exclude yourself, if you're able to go through, you cannot use that.
You can't use that account
for the next 30
years.
But you can create another.
You can create, but not with that number. So that model was good because at the end of the day, once you lose, once I'm bad, I feel bad, I'm down, I just self-exclude. Right? I can't use my number anymore.
But an addict always find a way. That's the first.
Now, yes. So now let me just speak to that exclusion now. That was 2023, right? Let me tell you what's happening now. You can only exclude for 90 days. So are we getting better? Or things are getting worse? So if I could exclude for 30 years, 2 years ago, now they've reduced it to only 90 days.
Why do you think that those things are happening?
That's because they need more players. They don't want you to be stuck. There are times where you want to exclude. There are times where I stopped gambling. They were sending me messages that you've been away for a while.
But I mean, from a business point of view, I don't think I can blame them. I am a business person. I reach out to my customer on a daily to we don't hear from them.
Exactly. There should be strict regulations. You can't be sending someone that is struggling. From your platform, you already know there is a problem gambler. How do you know? The numbers that is depositing. Do you understand? You can tell. And that's why some organizations have set up models to teach the betting operators, lecture them, the administrative team on how to detect a problem gambler. So when you detect a problem gambler, you should flag that number down, right? I understand it's a business. But again, do you want people killing themselves on your product? How would that make you feel? Because already we can't dent the sort of profit you are making. You are going to make that profit every day because of the numbers of people gambling in the country. And these numbers are increasing. But what we are just trying to do is set up awareness, create awareness. How are we going to create awareness? Let's go to schools. Let's go online. You guys spend about 1 billion naira across all the social media platforms. You engage the ex-football players, engage the celebrities, skit makers. You have them speak about gambling. They're telling you a very nice skit. You're laughing, you're excited. At the end of the day, they're telling you their promo code on one betting app. Everybody is talking about gaming. But guess what? No one is talking about the harms associated with it. No one is talking about how we should carry out proper research. We're sending letters to everybody. Nobody is saying anything. You go on the news, you hear someone committed suicide. Everybody's quiet. The silence is loud, bro.
Yes, it's very loud.
So those are the sort of conversations we plan on train on the table. That okay, guys, let's do this. Let's work together. right? I can't do it alone. Sometimes I run ads. I have to turn it off.
Why?
Because of the numbers that are calling in. We just have 15 psychologists. 5 at the rehab, 15 psychologists working virtually, while we have 5 at the rehab. That's 20. But we are receiving 60 calls a day, 70 calls a day. Nigeria.
Struggling with addiction.
From ages 12 to 45.
Gambling.
Losing
money,
losing their jobs, going to prison.
Over gambling.
So these are the conversations we're going to have with them and tell them that, guys, you know what? Let's come up with a structure, right, to help people. Again, you're pumping so much money on social media campaigns, right? We can't pump that much, but let's also go into that space, right, and speak to people. Let people be aware that there's something called gambling addiction. Let people be aware that there's an organization called GamblePause. Let them be aware that there's an organization called Gamble Aware. Let them be aware that there's an organization called Gamble Alert. Do you understand? Even in the regulatory sector, let them also be open-minded. The stakeholders need to be open-minded because one organization can't do it. GamblePause can't do it alone. Gamble Aware can't do it alone. Lobby Stars can't do it alone. Gamble Alert can't do it alone. Right? We need to come together to tackle this problem.
Yes, because we are playing against major stakeholders. They have the money and everything.
Exactly.
So we need to constantly have the conversations on a daily basis.
Exactly. But one important part is, you talk about how strong they are. They have the money, they have the thing, they have the stakeholders, they have everything. But guess what? We are now having the players because we are building communities. We have a community of over 6,500 people, right, ready to volunteer. Our community is getting bigger. Again, we are now, this initiative is a global initiative, right? We are getting calls to speak at global conferences. We are getting international collaborations because it's a global initiative. There's no one that will hear about it that will not want to be part of it. You understand? So those are the sort of conversations we plan on having with them on how we can collaborate in terms of research, in terms of models to curb underage gambling, and also structures we can put in place to promote responsible gambling.
All right, thank you very much. I like the way you talk about what you do is insightful, is detailed, and you're passionate about it. And I pray you find more success on the way. Me sitting here talking to you, know that the number one thing you want to do is help people overcome their addiction. Yeah. And I pray you find everything that comes along with that. So on this note, you have to leave a question for my next guest without knowing who you are leaving the question for.